It's been a little minute since I've posted on this channel, but we're back, and I definitely wanted to talk about what happened last night and just the absolute disaster that took place on X for the second time when Elon Musk decided to host Donald Trump. So let's just break down the story, right? I don't know if you guys remember this, but once upon a time, long time ago, there was this awful candidate named Ron DeSantis who decided he wanted to run for president. And before he opened up his mouth and people found out that he was awkward, he wasn't that guy, not really electable, and just not all that charismatic. Before people found that out, there was a lot of, support behind him. People were like, wow, I think that this is the guy who can really challenge Trump. I don't know if you guys remember that, but a lot of people were saying that before Ron DeSantis actually jumped in the race. Everybody thought that this guy could actually challenge Trump and possibly beat him. And even Elon Musk jumped on that bandwagon. And so what happened was Elon Musk decided to have Ron DeSantis on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And it was an absolute disaster. A bunch of technical issues. People couldn't get in. There was a bunch of awkward silence and pauses. I mean, Twitter's just not a great platform to host these kinds of things. It's just not. It's not a video platform. If you're going to have these conversations, I would say obviously they probably can't go to YouTube because YouTube will probably, you know how YouTube is with censorship. I would say go to Rumble. I think Rumble can probably better hold these type of conversations without things going wrong than X. But anyway, we had part 2 last night. So Trump, for the first time in a very long time, decided to return to Twitter. He just randomly got back on Twitter and he started tweeting. And as soon as he started tweeting, he also had a planned interview, conversation, whatever you want to call it, with Elon Musk. Well, it turns out when that situation actually took place, there was all these like different audio issues and glitches. First of all, the interview or conversation started 40 minutes late. And then there was all this like technical difficulties and problems, which it's so funny because it actually reminded me of, do you guys remember when Donald Trump went and spoke in front of the National Association of Black Journalists? And he had the nerve to lie and say that, oh, well, the reason why I was late and we started late is because you guys couldn't get your mics together. You guys had all these technical issues. And he tried to say that, which actually turns out that wasn't true. But he said that to the National Association of Black Journalists. But Elon Musk had even worse technical issues than whatever he claimed the National Association of Black Journalists had, because the interview was 45 minutes late. It started 45 minutes late, and you had reports from very prominent people like Bill Ackman. You got a tweet from Bill Ackman I'm reading right here. I probably won't show it on the screen, but Bill Ackman said, "Hey, Elon, can you let people know that we can't join?" Like, he tagged Donald Trump, but he said, "Hey, Donald, can you please let Elon Musk know that we can't join the Twitter space? Like, we can't join it. Like, what's going on here? Like, what's the problem?" And then the funny part is, it was a bunch of glitches, complete disaster. It started late, lots of awkward silence and pauses because you had all these technical difficulties. And then after you had all the technical difficulties, Elon Musk just straight up lied. He came out and said, X, there appears to be a massive DDoS attack on X. We're working on shutting it down. Worst case scenario, we will proceed with a smaller number of live stream listeners and post a conversation later. And then it turns out, if you look at this article over here in the Daily Beast, which I'm looking at right now, the employees for the Daily Beast basically came out and, the employees for X, or I guess a source at X told the Daily Beast that there wasn't an attack. And another staffer told the Daily Beast that there is a 99% chance that Elon Musk lied, which is true. They did not get hacked. They weren't a part of a DDoS attack or whatever you want to call it. You just didn't have the infrastructure, probably because you fired like 80% of all your workforce when you first took over X, but they didn't have the infrastructure to be able to handle the 1.2 million people who attended the Twitter space, which is true, guys. This was probably the biggest Twitter space ever. There was 1.2 million people who tried to attend, which for those who don't know, when you host really huge spaces with all these people, you need to have the infrastructure to be able to handle that. Elon Musk clearly doesn't have that infrastructure, and it's sad because you thought he would have learned his lesson. You literally made this mistake a long time ago back with Ron DeSantis, and now you're making this mistake again. You would think that as a supposed competent CEO, you would be able to at least make sure that the Twitter space works right and there's not a bunch of glitches and technical difficulties and things that just make the overall interview bad. Now, let's actually talk about the interview. The interview itself was terrible. I don't care what Fox News or whatever Republican publication you may listen to, just going to lie and tell you that, oh, Trump did great, he was strong. No, the interview was a disaster. We tell the truth on this channel. I listened to the space. It was bad. Trump just started randomly rambling about all these random things. He kept talking about Biden on numerous occasions. I don't understand why this guy keeps talking about Biden. You're not running against Biden. Let it go. For whatever reason, this guy just can't get over the fact that he's no longer running against Biden, because he originally structured his entire campaign to beat Biden, and every poll number on planet Earth pretty much showed that Trump was going to easily beat Biden. Now he's going up against an opponent, Kamala Harris, who is gaining an insane amount of momentum and support, and as a matter of fact, according to the latest polling, is beating him in numerous battleground states, and he's having a meltdown about it. And I don't know what his campaign is doing, but somebody needs to tell him, you're not running against Joe Biden. So he had that. He had a lot of random rants about Joe Biden, who he's no longer running against. And then Elon Musk himself, in my opinion, is just a terrible interviewer. I think that somebody like a Patrick Bet-David would have been better suited to run this interview. Obviously, Elon Musk would never do that because this is Elon Musk's platform. He wants to be the big cheese. He wants to be the main guy. He wants to be the guy on the camera. But I think Elon needs to understand that, bro, you are an introvert. You were not good at interviewing. You're just not. You weren't even good at interviewing when you interviewed Ron DeSantis. Like, your jokes are awkward. Your interview style is trash. You let Trump ramble about nothing. Y'all barely talked about policy. I don't even know what the heck they were talking about half the time. Half the time they were talking, I don't even know what they were talking about. But anyway, this thing was an absolute disaster. It wasn't good. There was all these technical difficulties, and Elon Musk just straight up blew it. Elon Musk straight up blew the one opportunity he had to not only usher in Donald Trump making his return to X, but once again, you're showing that Twitter space is they're just never going to be what you want it to be, because Elon Musk has said on numerous occasions that he eventually wants Twitter to be this big video platform. He doesn't just want Twitter to be a place where people go and tweet. He wants Twitter, which he renamed X, to be like this everything app. And he definitely wants to do videos on here. But bro, you can't even run a Twitter space. You can't even have huge Twitter spaces with big names, because you're going to have all these technical difficulties and all these glitches. So I don't know, man. No matter what you do, you got to get that together and figure that out. But yeah, folks, this was an absolute disaster. I can't do anything but laugh. There's a lot going on in politics. I might cover some of the other stuff. Apparently there's some crazy pictures with JD Vance, which I think is pretty interesting. I may or may not cover that. But yeah, anyway, that's today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.